If you want to know what happened in Waco, Texas at the Twin Peaks, May 17th, 2015, sit back, relax. You're about to find out. This is from a biker perspective. Kind of interesting, though, that it's coming from an attorney in Las Vegas. My name's Steven Stubbs, attorney in Las Vegas. And you might say, how does he know anything? Well, people trust me. I've been in the biker community for a long time, and they trust me. And because they trust me, they've contacted me. And they don't trust the police, specifically the Waco Police Department. They don't trust their government. They think what happened in Waco is wrong. I mean, literally, the Waco Police Department and their SWAT team opened fire on a large group of people. It's some truth is going to come out there. That has to come from the police department. But they don't trust their government. They don't trust the police. They don't trust they'll be honest. They don't trust they'll be fair. So if they want their story out, what do? They call Bowtie. They call Steven Stubbs out in Las Vegas. And this is their story. I've not only talked to these witnesses, I've got some substantiating documents and things that set out the timeline. And all of the accounts that I've used, none of them have been contradictory. None of them. So here we go. On May 17th, 2015, there was a Texas Confederation of Clubs meeting. This is a political organization, decades old political organization, just like Republican, Democrat, any of those others. It was a political organization. Their mission, bikers' rights, the Constitution, motorcycle safety, charities. They do a lot with charities. But still, there was this planned meeting that was planned 2 months ago in Waco, Texas, at the Twin Peaks. Now, they generally don't go out to Waco. There were some concerns among a lot of the members that some people in the outlying areas weren't being treated fairly because the meetings were always in Austin or always in Dallas. And so they thought it was fair to have a meeting in Waco, which they don't usually do. They usually go to the Twin Peaks in Austin. So the Twin Peaks in Austin got in touch with the Twin Peaks in Waco. And they had a conversation about this political meeting, and the Twin Peaks and Waco agreed to have this meeting there. And I think it's extremely unfair to the Twin Peaks and Waco. They've been treated extremely unfairly. Pretty much, they decided to have a political organization come and meet there, and they've been attacked for it, which I think is horrible. But still, so at 11:30, the group of Cossacks and Scimitars show up. Now, Cossacks and Scimitars are not members of the COC, have not been involved in any of the politics, not been involved in any of the meetings, did not go to the National Coalition of Motorcyclists. They were not specifically invited. Nobody knew they were going to be there, and nobody really knew why they were there, right? But anyway, they show up at 11:30. Some of them go inside, some of them order drinks, some of them order food. Most of them stay out in the parking lot by the bikes. And they were hanging out at about 12:15, a group of 9 Bandidos rolls in, minds their own business, parks away from the Cossacks, goes into the restaurant, orders drinks, orders food. They're waiting for this meeting to start. They've received some of their beverages. They're sitting down, relaxing, talking to the people they know. Everything is going great. About 12:20 shows up, 12:20 comes around, and 7 Bandidos, about 7, my numbers may be off by 1 or 2, but about 7 Bandidos show up, and they start parking their motorcycles when a member of the Scimitars jumps out in front of their pack and tells them they're not allowed to park by the Cossacks. I have no idea why they would say that, but that's what they said. They said, no, you can't park here, even though there were parking spaces there. And an argument broke out. Words, as soon as the commotion starts. Now, keep in mind, the Bandidos are still on their motorcycles, right? The argument breaks out while they're on their motorcycles, and as soon as that happens, Cossacks and Scimitars surround the Bandidos. Now we're talking at least 50. Some say 100. Most say about 70. But at least 50 on 7 surrounding. Now there's witnesses that have said that as soon as the commotion started, as soon as they started surrounding the Bandidos, at least 3 Cossacks unholstered their firearms and had them ready. 3 brandished firearms at that exact time. At that time, people on the patio that saw the weapons come out, they went in the restaurant. They head for cover. One of them even went and hid behind a truck in the parking lot. Got as far away as she could. And still, it was an argument. At that time, they were arguing, and then the Cossacks started attacking, started trying to pull them off their bikes. The Bandidos had their helmets in their hands at the time. They had their bikes and their helmets. They did not have any weapons out, nor would it be feasible. If you've ever ridden a motorcycle and stopped and held a motorcycle, and maybe you have and you're balancing your motorcycle and you have your helmet, you've taken off your helmet, it wouldn't even be feasible for them to have weapons or use weapons at that time, and they didn't. They were defending themselves with their fists and with their helmets. At one point, very quickly, one of the Cossacks went up to one of the Bandidos and point blank shot him in the shoulder. There is a Bandido right now in the jail with a shoulder gunshot wound. That's where that came from. Very soon after that, a Cossack from the patio fires a second shot. We don't know who was aiming at or where that went. We just know that he fired. There's another witness that says that he heard a third shot, but that's only one. Most everybody says they heard 1 or 2. One person said it was a third. And immediately after the Cossack fired that shot from the patio area, the entire group was being riddled with bullets. Witnesses say they heard silenced rounds from a rifle with a silencer, and they saw the police SWAT coming in. Hundreds of rounds were fired into the crowd. 27 people were shot total. Now, we know one of those was a shot from a Cossack in the shoulder. Other than that, your guess is as good as mine. The police have the autopsies. The police have the forensics. I find it interesting they haven't released any of it. I find it interesting they haven't released any of the video. They have, from Don Carlos restaurant next door, the video of the parking lot that shows everything in broad daylight. Shows everything. But the police came in. They fired hundreds of rounds on a crowd with a restaurant and a patio with civilians, innocent civilians, as a backdrop. They killed one innocent person for sure. Jesus Rodriguez. I know him as Mohawk. I met him a couple years ago at a National Coalition of Motorcyclists event. He's a great guy. He's gentle. He's got a mohawk. He may look a little scary, but he's a veteran. He's a decorated veteran. And he's not a member of any club. Not at all. He had friends in clubs. I have friends in clubs. All these people have friends in clubs. He was not a member of any club. He was innocent, and he was killed. And he was killed most likely by the police. Now, I've also heard reports. There was a member of the Cossacks Motorcycle Club that was an undercover police officer. I've been told by multiple people his name was Voodoo. I've also been told by a Cossack source that Voodoo was the primary person pushing for the Cossacks and Scimitars to show up to that meeting. I have so many questions. Okay, why is this guy Voodoo? Why is this police officer pushing to have 50 plus, up to 100 maybe, Cossacks and Scimitars show up to a political meeting that they brandish firearms at the very beginning of an argument with? I don't know. I don't know the answers. The police are not releasing that information for sure, but they're also not releasing the video, and they're not releasing the forensic reports from the bullets to see how many of these people were shot and killed by the police officers. My guess, that video looks horrible for the police. Looks horrible for them. Because from the descriptions that I have, from the witnesses that have talked to me, it would show police officers coming in like it's a war zone and just shooting everything in sight. If that's true, some people need to be held accountable. That is the biker's perspective. I pray for everybody in Waco. I pray that the innocent will be set free. And I'm still pretty upset at the way the police have approached this. There are people in jail who pulled up while the fight was starting, parked their truck, and got out of their truck and immediately were met by police officers and told to get on the ground. They had nothing to do with the fight. There are people in the patio, in the restaurant, that had nothing to do with this fight. We've got advocates that were given 2 days after this incident, were given a an award from the Waco City Council for their advocacy and their service to the community with the Texas Confederation of Clubs. They were also arrested. The police should have looked at the video. They should have looked at the video, and they should have only arrested those people that had anything to do with this. But that's not what was done. Everybody was arrested, and the DA said everybody was arrested that didn't act like a victim. Put yourself in that situation. You're shot at, bullets flying, everything's happening. You probably don't even know much. But why is remaining silent a reason to be arrested? It's just wrong. A lot that's going on is wrong, and we need answers. I'm Stephen Bowtie Stubbs, and God bless.